Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dr. Nick. First of all, I want to talk about Damien Mizdow. We haven't seen the guy on TV for a while, and it just boggles my mind that guys like this who have such great talent, WWE just doesn't know what to do with them. Either that, they're just lazy. I don't get it. Like, here's a fine example. You remember this guy, right? This is Vladimir Kozlov, and this guy was first built as a huge monster, dominated. And it seems like it's always the same formula, the same story. They build these guys up to be, dominating forces. And then after a while, I don't know what it is exactly, they decide it's not working. But I'm not going to use the cliche thing of, well, they put him against Cena and he buries him, or Triple H buries somebody and stuff like that. And then eventually it gets to the point where they put him in some type of comedic thing, such as Kozlov. They, took him from a dominating, strong Russian guy, heel, and they put him in a comedic role with, of course, Santino Marella. Same thing with Santino. His earlier character was actually a lot better than what they, turned it into. But here's an example of, here's Kofi Kingston, okay? Here's Kofi. Now, the thing about Kofi Kingston is, you're saying, well, right now he's with the New Day. He's with Big E and Xavier Woods. Yes, but look how long Kofi Kingston's been with the company. Look how long they've, people may say, oh, well, he dropped the ball. I don't think he dropped the ball. I think it's more WWE just doesn't stick with the story long enough. I think that's what the biggest problem is. And here's an example of why I think the formula for creating a superstar and for somebody getting over is just completely ass backwards and definitely not the same as it used to be. Here, let me grab something real quick. Now, we all know Hulk Hogan, okay? Hulk rules, merchandise, multiple time champion. I mean, what else is there to say about the guy? Especially since Hulk Hogan, due to, many different things that happened recently with the scandal and, the things that were said, racist comments. But regardless, now look at that. Look what they did during the 80s. They had the same formula. They had guys that they wanted and pushed tremendously. They gave them merchandise. They gave them commercials. Just numerous things that other people did not get. Excuse me. Because, believe it or not, jobbers, and I hate to use that term, talent enhancement people, enhancers. WCW had them. WWE has always had them. Barry Horowitz. You have, a prime example would be Brooklyn Brawler. And today, Iron Mike Sharp passed away, which a lot of you may remember Iron Mike Sharp as a talent enhancer. And I don't like to use the word jobber because it's been turned into a negative term. If there wasn't guys who put other people over, you'd never have new stars. And I think that's the biggest reason why WWE is lacking, and not only the storylines but character development. During Hogan's era, there was mid-carders, there was main event guys, and there was jobbers. There always has been. That's the hierarchy. It's always been that way. And that's how it is now. But the problem is, this day and age, WWE's roster is not quite as vast as it used to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is quite a few people on the roster, but they're using people who could be that main event caliber, and they're not putting them into storylines and situations to where they can show what they have. Perfect example, Heath Slater. He's talked about it numerous times where, if WWE gives me the ball, I'll run with it. And I guarantee he would. Give Heath Slater an Intercontinental title shot. He's proven numerous times that if you give a guy like that the opportunity, which WWE to me has not done, and it just pisses me off beyond all belief that, guys like Zack Ryder and Curtis Axel, Damian Sandow, Bo Dallas, Adam Rose. There's a long list of people who I believe that given the opportunity, and they always say, well, you got to grab that brass ring. Vince says you got to grab that brass ring. Well, we all know in wrestling it's very political. It always has been, always will be. And I think it's one of those things, it goes back to, it's all about who you know, how close you are to that person, and how far you get into the industry. And, that's just my feelings on the subject. You may disagree. And the second half of this video, I want to talk about how not just wrestling fans, but just people on the internet in general, they will believe almost anything that pops up on the screen. I looked on Facebook earlier today, and this is a prime example. There was an article that said, I think it was like, Nabisco crackers recall or something, And don't get me wrong, there's recalls and certain things that come out about products. But people don't read the article or actually fact check all the things before they actually share it. And then that idiocy gets passed on to somebody else. And then they pass it on. And it's just continuous, a nonstop just misinformation. Like I read one the other day where it said certain types of toothpaste can cause cancer. That may be the case. But the article seems legitimate. But if you actually look through, I think at some point we all have to take responsibility for the information that we share, because we're actually, in my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm a genius, I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world, but when I read articles and I hear news, I like to fact check them and see that they're right before I even get past that point of sharing it to someone else. A lot of people I know, and it's unfortunate, a lot of people I know are guilty of this. And I'm not saying that they're morons, but people, check your facts. The other day there was a Daniel Bryan gets released. And what people didn't realize, that article was from 2010. It was not from this year. But before anybody read it, they were typing, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Read it. Make sure it's from a factual news site. Make sure the facts are actually correct. That way you won't look like an idiot. Because in a way, to me, Facebook, definitely certain people, it shows how naive they can be, how easily influenced a lot of people can be, and just how dumb they could be on, especially political views. And, I won't get into that because, I don't know, I try not to get into that. There'll just be tons of people, swarming all over the post, going, oh, that guy is ignorant, he's America, he's racist and all this kind of stuff. Or, he might like Donald Trump. I will never review my political views on here whatsoever. But anyways, like this video, subscribe down below, and I'll see y'all later.